Okay, just carrying on with the advanced push hands, we're going right back to single push hands now, taking it a step further, getting into a more pedantic area of push hands. Generally speaking, when you know there are the four different hands. There's the mother hand, which is extreme yin, daughter hand, which is less yin, the father or the yang, which is extreme yang, and the son, which is less yang but more yang than the daughter palm, for instance. So there's basically two yang hands and two yin hands. Your mother hand will defend against any sort of attack. So in other words, your basic push hands using your mother hand will defend you against anything. You don't have to worry about which palm you're using if you just use your mother palm all the time. However, we do take it a little step further in the understanding of yin and yang. So generally when an attack comes in, it's going to be a yang type of attack for starters. And so I'm obviously using, or this type, it can be either that's obviously yang, or you can bring in with the sun attack, and I can defend against it using the mother palm. Or I could have defended against it using the daughter palm. What the opponent feels is, when they're using this palm here, it's strong, but it's like a big balloon taking the force in. Whereas when I use the daughter palm, it's more sort of physical, more powerful in a physical sense, but it's still yin, taking in the attack. If while, for instance, attacks with the daughter palm, which is, and you should really try these all the time, because even though he's not going to get through, if I'm using good solid palm here, he's still learning about, he's still using all of the correct body functions to strike, using that very powerful strike to the neck anyway. Or if he uses the sun, he's tacking with the fingers to the neck. So you should every now and again try and use those, even though you're not going to get through, just for the sake of learning how to use those sort of attacks. So generally speaking, so say for instance if Wol attacks with the daughter palm, I can still use the mother palm because it defends against anything, or I can use the sun palm. Now when I'm using the sun palm against the daughter palm, so that's basically a yin attack, or just a little bit more to the side, yeah, that's a yin attack. I can then turn it, which is a very physical attack, just take it over very slowly, just past my center, and then I re-attack with the tips of the fingers. So generally, when you defend using a yang hand, that is, for instance, this hand, or extreme yang, this hand, you have very small movement. When I'm defending using a yin hand, I have a lot more movement. See, there's a lot, it goes right past my center, right over to the side of my body, and it's loaded, then I come back with a yang attack, because I've defended with a yin attack. But if I'm defending with a yang hand, which is this, for instance, if Wol's attacking like that, he doesn't turn his hand over, I can still use a pung, but it's getting into the realms of force on force, because we're both using the same hand. But one hand's going to be more yang than the other. So Wol's hand is going to be more yang than mine, even though we've got yin-shaped hands. But generally speaking, this sort of push hand shouldn't happen, and I don't know anyone who teaches this sort of push hand. Sometimes I'll just stand here like this talking to someone just doing with a yin hand, in which case your partner or your opponent should really defend against either using that, a yang hand, or that, a yang hand, like so. So if I was attacking with a yang hand, I can either use that or that, which is the two yin palms, or if he's attacking, say for instance, with a yin hand, I can still use that one, but much better to use a yang hand. So I could turn my hand right over, see there's very little movement there, so see that, and come back with an attack, because I'm yang. So when I'm using a yang defense, which is either that or that, when he pushes, I come straight back. There's very little movement past my center, you see? Very little movement. I can even get to here when he attacks, so there's no movement. So say he's attacking with a yin hand, I can just turn it over and push straight back on that side if I want. So there's no movement at all then. But if I'm using a yin hand, which can be that, see, there's a lot of movement to my right, and then come back with a big load. Or the daughter hand, there's a lot of movement, then back with the yang hand, or the mother hand, then there's just the normal lot of movement. So that's generally speaking what that should happen. A yang hand, very little movement here, or that could have been the sun hand. Yin hand, a whole lot of movement. Okay, so generally speaking, when a yin defense happens, there are a few exchanges of yin, both people going yin. What we're trying to do here is, what usually happens is, if I was attacking with a nice solid yang hand, and I go yin, usually what happens is his body becomes yin. And then it allows me to come back with a quick attack, quick yang attack to get in. So what Wal has to do, or what everyone has to do, has to learn, is that when there's a yin attack, flick your brain straight back into a totally defensive mode again. Don't sit there thinking, oh, what was that, bang, or you get hit, you see? So that's what happens. That yin attack causes the person to think about it, to think about that yin attack, and in doing so it causes his body to go yin, and it opens for, bang, a big solid yang attack coming in. So it's teaching you to get back to a yin mode, to get back rather to a defensive mode, which is a yin mode anyway. So if I come down here, Wal knows there's a big attack coming, so the only way to defend against it is what he was doing, is to go totally yin himself. He turns his hand right over, pulls it in and changes his weight like there's a bag of air. What? And then now he might come back, what? And then I'll go back.